And hello, my fabulous students. This is your favorite teacher, Mr. Jacobston. I'm excited to be with you. This was the final webcast for the Age of Exploration. We will be discussing the Columbian Exchange. And it will not be longer than the others. So, woohoo. All right, so the Columbian Exchange corn and potatoes. So after the age of exploration, the economies of Europe, Africa, Asia, and America changed, naturally. As Europe traded with the world, a global exchange of people and goods, technology, ideas, and even diseases began. We call this transfer the Columbian Exchange. Now, there are two important foods. There's corn and potatoes. These were taken to Europe from North America. Corn was used to feed animals. Larger, healthier animals resulted in more meat, leather, and wool. So, just to sum up, they took lots of corn over, started planting it in Europe. Corn was easy to grow, so there was a lot of it, and they just fed their animals corn. And they had more food to feed the animal, which meant the animals in Europe are getting fatter, plumpier, whatever, which made for bigger animals means bigger meat or more leather, more wool, etc. So corn was a good big help to the people in Europe. The potato also had a significant impact. Europeans discovered that if they planted potatoes instead of grain, about 4 times as many people could live off the same amount of land. So potatoes, if anyone's, I'm sure many people have had potatoes here. It's obviously a very popular staple here in America. Potatoes are thick, they're starchy, it's hearty. When you eat potatoes and you feel full inside because of the structure and the composition of the the produce. So corn and potatoes came from America. They transferred them to Europe, and it dramatically starts changing things for the better over there. Other important foods. So, and other things they started transferring over were things called tomatoes. They became very popular, especially in Italy. Chocolate was a popular food from Central America by mixing it with the milk and sugar. Europeans created a sweet that is still popular today. Many of you love and adore chocolate. Chocolate comes from South, well, we'll just say the Americas. It's from a plant called the cacao. So what they do, if you ever had like baking chocolate, chocolate is naturally bitter. It doesn't have sugar. So if you ever had like baking chocolate and you took a bite of it, you would probably spit it out. It's bitter. But the Europeans realized, hey, wait a minute. What if we mix some sugar with this and some milk and it can actually taste really, 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 really good. And so this is something that comes from the Columbian Exchange. Chocolate wasn't around as far as in the old world until the new world was discovered. Coffee comes from Southwest Asia. It was planted in the Americas about 1668. If you are familiar, Colombian coffee is very popular in the world. Coffee was transported to the Americas, though. Make that clear. Horses provided a faster way to move from place to place. As a result, Native Americans began hunting buffalo as their main source of food. So they brought horses over from the old world to the new world, and that also changes the way people are hunting and migrating around the continent. So the Columbian Exchange, the effects and consequences here. So the exchange dramatically changed the world as we know it. The main reason is one, the exchange increased the world's food supply. So as a result, the world's population is going to start to spike. If you look here, you can see how by the 1700s you have a slow but steady incline, and then when it gets to about mid 1900s, it spikes tremendously. So we see a steady increase in the population as a result of the Columbian Exchange. So here's a nice picture here I like here. It shows the foods and the plants and other things that are coming over from North America to Europe, and of course the things that are going from Europe over to the Americas, um, and vice versa. Not everything that went over, unfortunately, was good, and that's what we're going to need to talk about next. So here are some of the negative aspects of the Columbian Exchange. Europeans, as we talked before, Europeans carried germs that killed Native Americans. European diseases caused widespread outbreaks in the Pacific Ocean and the Pacific Islands, I should say, as well as between 1500 and 1800. Historians estimate that as many as 100 million people died from European diseases. So the Columbian Exchange brought a lot of really good things to the Old World and New World, but one thing it did that just devastated people was the diseases that were carried over from Europe into the New World. Second, the Europeans introduced new spices, or I'd say species, of plants and animals. In some instances, this hurt the local environment. Many species do not cause problems in their native habitat. However, when introduced to a new region, many plants and animals can damage the area. So they're bringing over their own plants to the New World and vice versa. And when you plant that plant, it's not in its natural habitat, which makes it can be problematic because then it could overrun the native plants of that region, and it could put in danger the native plants of that region with this foreign plant, which it did. And the last but not least, after Europeans began growing sugarcane in the Caribbean, they uh, they enslaved millions of Africans and moved them to the Americas. So you have disease, you have plants which hurt the habitat of the locale of where they planted it, and also you have the slavery which is happening at an accelerated pace from Africa or the old world into the new world as well. And that's pretty much it. So that's the end. This is the Columbian Exchange. Go ahead and write your one-page summary, and I look forward to talking to you about this at the first of the week. Until then, bye bye.